I drive for a rideshare company on weekends. It's not my main job, just something I do to make a little extra cash. I usually work the late night shift because there's less traffic and more tips from drunk people heading home. That night, though, the city felt wrong. It had been raining for hours, turning the streets into mirrors that reflected the orange glow of streetlights. I'd already dropped off my last passenger and was about to call it a night when a new request came in. The pickup point was on the edge of town, near an old bus terminal that had been closed for years. Normally, I would have ignored it, but the surge price was high, too high to resist. I drove there, the rain tapping against my windshield like fingertips. The terminal was empty, except for a figure standing under a flickering light. A man in a dark gray hoodie, hands in his pockets, head down. He got in quietly. "Evening," I said, glancing at him in the mirror. "You heading home?" He didn't answer right away, just stared out the window, water dripping from his sleeves. Then, in a calm voice, he said, "Yeah, home." I looked at the app. No destination had been entered. "Hey, you forgot to put your drop-off location." He turned his head toward me, slowly. I could barely see his face, just the edge of his jaw in the mirror. Then he said something that made my skin crawl. "You already know where I live." I laughed nervously. "I don't actually. You'll have to—" He interrupted me. "Yes, you do. You've been there before." My heart started to race. I hadn't seen this man before. I was sure of it. "Sir, if you don't enter a location, I'll have to cancel the ride." He leaned forward, and for a split second, I caught his reflection in the rearview mirror. His eyes were completely black. No whites, no pupils. "You shouldn't have picked me up," he whispered. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded, stopping in the middle of the wet road. When I turned around, the seat was empty. The back door hadn't opened. No footprints, no sound. He was just gone. My phone vibrated in my hand. The rideshare app was glitching. The name of the passenger flashed on screen. Daniel Carter. That was my name. I stared at it for what felt like forever, heart pounding. Then the app crashed, and my phone went black. When I got home later that night, soaked and shaking, I saw something on my front door. A rideshare sticker, the same kind I had in my car. But this one was ripped and old, and someone had scrawled in black ink, "Thanks for the ride home." I work for a small courier service that handles overnight deliveries, the kind that regular shipping companies don't touch. It's usually documents, keys, small packages. I get paid per drop, no questions asked. One night, I got an assignment that looked simple. Deliver a sealed envelope to a house on Willow Lane by 3 a.m. It wasn't far, just outside the city limits, but I'd never heard of the street before. My GPS didn't recognize it either. I only found it after following a series of handwritten directions my boss had texted me. The rain was coming down hard when I reached it. A narrow road lined with trees that looked more like shadows than anything living. The house was at the very end,
A tall, narrow two-story with a single light glowing in an upstairs window. I knocked on the door. No answer. After a minute, I knocked again, louder this time. Then the door creaked open, just a few inches, and a woman's voice called from inside. "Leave it on the porch." Ma'am? I need a signature." Silence. I started to back away, uneasy, when I heard footsteps descending the stairs inside. Slow, heavy. The door opened wider, and an older woman appeared, her hair gray and damp, like she'd just come from the rain. She didn't say anything, just held out her hand. I gave her the envelope, and she signed the receipt with trembling fingers. As I turned to leave, she said quietly, "You've been here before, haven't you?" I froze. "No, ma'am. First time on Willow Lane." Her eyes flicked past me to the road behind my car. "Not night. Years ago. You brought one just like this." I forced a smile. "You must have me confused with someone else." Her lips trembled into something that wasn't quite a smile. "No, it's always you." I didn't know what to say. I just thanked her and left as quickly as I could. When I got back to the main road, I stopped at a gas station to log the delivery. But when I looked at the signature sheet, my stomach dropped. She hadn't signed her name. She'd written, "Don't come back." The next morning, my boss called. His voice was tense. "Hey, about that delivery last night. Where exactly did you drop it off?" I told him Willow Lane. He went quiet. "There's no record of that address anymore. That house burned down 5 years ago. The woman who lived there, she died in the fire." I didn't say anything, just looked out my window and saw muddy footprints leading up my front steps. There was a single sealed envelope sitting on my porch, the same kind I'd delivered the night before.
This happened about 2 years ago. I was driving home after visiting my parents in the countryside. It was close to midnight, and the 2-hour drive back to the city was long and lonely. About halfway there, I noticed a car parked on the shoulder, hazard lights flashing. As I passed, I saw a young girl, maybe 12 or 13, standing beside it, waving frantically. I pulled over. "Are you okay?" I asked through the window. She nodded quickly, eyes wide. "Can you take me to the next town? My mom's hurt." I didn't see anyone else around, and it was pouring rain. I couldn't just leave her there, so I unlocked the door. She got in the back seat, dripping wet, clutching a small backpack. As I pulled back onto the road, I tried to make small talk, but she stayed silent, staring out the window. "Where's your mom?" I asked gently. "Still there," she whispered. "She said someone would come." That gave me chills for some reason. We drove for about 10 minutes before I realized something strange. I couldn't see her reflection in the rearview mirror. I looked back quickly. She was there, head down, hands in her lap. But when I turned forward again, my headlights flickered and the seatbelt chime went off. The back seat was empty. My hands gripped the wheels so tightly they hurt. I pulled over, shaking, and looked behind me. No one, just wet footprints on the seat. I sat there for a while, trying to make sense of it. Then I noticed something on the floor, a small photo, half soaked from the rain. It showed a little girl standing next to a woman in front of a car, the same car I'd seen broken down. At the bottom, written in faded pen, were the words, "In loving memory of Lily and her mother, 2009. But it was 2024. When I finally made it home, I left the photo on my passenger seat. The next morning, it was gone. But my rear-view mirror had a single handprint on it. Small, wet, and pointing directly at me.